She thought you would come back, not because she was certain she wanted the relationship, not because she had already decided to repair what was broken. She thought you would come back because you always had before. Whenever she became distant, you moved closer. Whenever she stopped replying, you found another reason to message. Whenever the connection became uncertain, you worked harder to make it feel secure. After every disagreement, you were the one who reopened the conversation. After every period of silence, you were the one who ended it. You taught her that regardless of what she said, how cold she became, or how little effort she gave, your attention would eventually return. Then something changed. Days passed. No message, no explanation, no emotional paragraph, no reaction to her stories, no attempt to remind her of the memories, no request for one final conversation. She waited for the familiar pattern, but this time you never came back. And that may be the moment your absence stopped feeling temporary. It became real. Before this video ends, you will understand what may happen when a woman realizes the man who always returned has finally accepted the ending, why her first reaction may not be the one you expect, and how to respond if she contacts you after discovering that your life no longer waits for her. But hear the truth before hope begins controlling you. Your disappearance does not guarantee she will miss you. It does not guarantee she will regret losing you. It does not guarantee she will return. She may recognize your value and still believe the relationship should remain over. She may think about you privately without taking any action. She may feel relief, sadness, curiosity, or nothing strong enough to change her decision. You are not stepping away to control her emotions. You are stepping away because you finally understood that love cannot remain healthy when one person must keep chasing the other person into participation. That is the real transformation, not whether she panics, whether you stop abandoning yourself. At first, she may feel relief. That is not what you wanted to hear. You imagined your silence would immediately make her feel the weight of losing you. You thought she would wake up the next morning, reach for her phone, see no message, and suddenly understand everything. But if the final weeks were filled with long conversations, repeated questions, jealousy, pressure, or attempts to convince her, your absence may initially make her feel calmer. She no longer expects another paragraph explaining why you belong together. She no longer feels responsible for reassuring you. She no longer has to defend every delayed response. She no longer has to repeat that she needs space. This relief does not prove that you meant nothing. It may simply mean the dynamic had become emotionally exhausting. When a man senses a woman withdrawing, he often becomes urgent. He asks whether everything is okay. She says she needs time. A few hours later, he asks whether she still loves him. The next morning, he sends a long message explaining why the relationship can work. When she responds without enough warmth, he writes another message to clarify the first one. He believes he is fighting for love, but from her side, it may feel as if there is no room to think. Then he finally stops, the pressure disappears. She can breathe. This is where most men break. They see her looking peaceful. They notice that she has not contacted them. They see her posting pictures, laughing with friends, or continuing with daily life. They conclude that their absence has had no effect. Then they send another message. They interrupt the silence because they cannot tolerate the possibility that she is comfortable without them. But real distance requires allowing her to experience every emotion, including relief. You cannot say you accept her choice, then demand that she suffer immediately. You cannot call it self respect while secretly waiting for evidence that she is falling apart. That is still dependence. Let the pressure disappear. Let the immediate emotions settle. Because once the tension of the ending becomes quieter, her mind may begin remembering more than the final argument. She may remember the man you were before fear changed your behavior, the man who could make her laugh without trying too hard, the man who listened without turning every conversation into a discussion about the relationship, the man who had goals, routines, and confidence, the man whose attention felt meaningful because it was freely given rather than anxiously demanded. She may remember the details that became invisible through familiarity, the way you asked whether she arrived home safely, the way you noticed when her mood changed, the way you remembered something she mentioned weeks earlier, the support you gave during a difficult period, the private jokes that made no sense to anyone else, the ordinary evenings that felt insignificant because Both of you assumed there would be many more. People do not always miss someone through dramatic moments. Sometimes absence appears in small interruptions. She sees something you would have found funny. She reaches for her phone before remembering that the two of you no longer speak. She passes a place connected to you. She has a difficult day and realizes that the person she once told everything is no longer available. She hears a phrase that sounds like something you would say. For a second, the old connection returns. Then reality follows. You are not there. This is when she may begin thinking differently about your silence. At first, she believed you were trying to prove a point. Maybe she thought you would remain quiet for 3 days, perhaps 1 week. Then you would become lonely. You would send something casual, a joke, a memory, a simple question designed to reopen the door without admitting how much you missed her. She knew your pattern. You had made promises before. I am done chasing. I cannot continue like this. I need to focus on myself. But every time she gave you the smallest sign, you returned one story reaction, one late night message, one I miss you, and suddenly every boundary disappeared. So she may have assumed your silence was only another temporary reaction, but the days keep moving, you do not come back. The first thought may be simple: he has not contacted me. Then it becomes a question: why has he not contacted me? Then the question becomes more personal: has he finally accepted that we are over? Did I push him further away than I intended? Is someone else getting the attention he once gave me? Was the last conversation really the last one? Would he even answer if I contacted him now? Notice what changed. Before, she knew where you stood. Your attention was certain. Your feelings were available. Your door remained open. Now she does not know. And uncertainty can make the mind return to something repeatedly, but do not become addicted to imagining her questions. Curiosity is not commitment. A woman wondering where you went does not automatically mean she wants a relationship. She may miss the predictability of your attention. She may dislike no longer knowing whether you are available. She may feel uncomfortable because the emotional control she once had has changed. She may miss being wanted more than she misses being with you. That distinction matters because if you mistake curiosity for love, you will surrender everything the moment she makes a small move. She watches your story, you immediately message. She likes an old picture, you create an entire future inside your head. She asks a mutual friend how you are doing. You assume she wants you back. She sends, "Hey," you answer with a paragraph. Then she receives reassurance that you are still waiting. Her uncertainty disappears, and so does her effort. Do not become angry if that happens. Understand the pattern. Some people do not want to reopen the relationship. They only want to know that they could. They want confirmation that the door still works. They want reassurance that the person they left has not emotionally escaped. Once they receive it, they feel secure again. Then they return to their distance. This is why you must stop treating contact as reconciliation. A message is only a message. A story view is only a story view. A nostalgic comment is only a nostalgic comment. Real intention becomes visible through continued action. Does she communicate directly? Does she carry the conversation? Does she acknowledge what happened? Does she explain what she wants? Does she take responsibility? Does she continue investing after she knows that you still care? That final question reveals more than any emotional message. Someone can become intensely interested when they fear losing access. The real test is whether their effort remains after security returns. She may also begin comparing, not necessarily comparing you with another man. She may compare the emotional experience of life now with the experience she had when you were present. Maybe she has more peace but less closeness, more freedom but less familiarity, more attention but less understanding. She may receive compliments from someone new and realize that being desired is not the same as being known. She may meet someone exciting and discover that excitement does not automatically create safety. She may notice that consistent care was easier to overlook than it is to replace. But do not sit around hoping everyone else disappoints her. Your value should not depend on another man failing. You do not need a stranger to mistreat her before your patience becomes meaningful. You do not need her new connection to collapse before your loyalty becomes real. What you offered either had value or it did not. Her recognition does not create that value. It only changes whether she can appreciate it, and she may never appreciate it. You must become strong enough to accept that too. Walking away is not a contract that says, I will disappear, and in return, you will regret losing me. That is still manipulation. That is still making your peace dependent on her reaction. Real walking away says, I cannot control whether you recognize what I gave. I can control whether I continue giving it where it is not being respected. That is freedom. Now imagine a man named Michael. Michael was always the one who returned. Whenever the woman he loved became uncertain, he tried to stabilize everything. If she became quiet, he sent more messages. If she canceled a plan, he immediately offered 5 different dates. If she questioned the relationship, he began listing every reason they should remain together. He called it loyalty. But beneath the loyalty was fear. He believed that if he stopped working for the connection would disappear. Eventually, she told him that she needed distance. Michael felt panic. He sent one final message, then another. She replied politely, but did not move toward him. That night, he realized something painful. He was no longer communicating with a woman who wanted to build with him. He was presenting arguments to a woman who had already stepped away. So he stopped. The first night was difficult. He checked his phone repeatedly. The second day, he looked at her profile. The third night, he wrote a message and deleted it. By the end of the week, he felt worse rather than better. But he did not return, not because he wanted to punish her, because he understood that every return was teaching him not to trust himself. He had said he would stop chasing. Then loneliness made him break the promise. He had said he would protect his dignity. Then one small sign made him abandon it. He had said he would accept her decision. Then fear made him negotiate again. This time, he wanted to become a man whose own word meant something. 3 weeks passed. Then her message arrived. I thought you would have contacted me by now. Read that carefully. She did not say, I want to rebuild. She did not say, I understand what happened. She said that his behavior had violated her expectation. The old Michael would have felt hope. He would have replied, I wanted to, but I was trying to give you space. I miss you so much. The new Michael asked himself a better question. Is she reaching out because she wants the relationship or because my silence has made her uncomfortable? So he responded calmly. You asked for distance, so I respected it. What made you reach out? No anger, no performance, no punishment. He placed responsibility for the conversation back where it belonged. If she wanted to speak, she had space to speak. If she only wanted reassurance, the lack of immediate emotional access would reveal it. That is how you respond when she says, You never came back. You do not apologize for respecting the ending. You do not become arrogant. You do not say, Now you know what you lost. You can say, The situation felt one sided, so I stopped forcing it. Or you chose distance and I respected your choice, or I cared, but I could not continue chasing uncertainty. Then stop talking. Let her answer. Do not turn your boundary into a 20-minute speech. A boundary becomes weaker when you keep trying to make another person approve of it. You are not asking permission to protect your peace. Now she may say, I thought you would fight for me. This sentence can pull you back into guilt. You may wonder whether walking away proved that you did not care enough, but ask what fighting actually means. Did she want both of you to work on the relationship? Or did she want you to keep pursuing while she remained uncertain? Those are not the same. You can fight for a relationship when two people are fighting for it. You communicate, you listen, you seek solutions, you take responsibility, you stay during difficult conversations. But chasing someone who repeatedly chooses distance is not fighting for love, it is fighting against their choice. You can say, I was willing to work on the relationship, but I was not willing to carry it alone. That sentence contains both love and self respect. If she genuinely wanted partnership, she can respond with effort. If she only wanted proof that you would continue chasing, your clarity may frustrate her. Let it. You are no longer organizing your life around avoiding her disappointment. She may also say, So you stopped caring? Do not allow that question to force you into proving yourself again. Caring and chasing are not the same. You can say, I did care. That is why the decision was difficult. But caring does not mean ignoring reality. That is enough. You do not have to list everything you did for her. You do not need to remind her of your loyalty. You do not need to explain that you cried. Your pain is not evidence you must present in court. Your behavior already showed that you cared. Now, your boundary shows that you care about yourself too. If she says, I miss you, Do not immediately answer with, I miss you too. Let us try again. You may miss her, but missing someone is not a repair plan. You can say, I miss parts of what we had too. What are you hoping happens now? That question separates emotion from intention. She may say she does not know. Believe that. Do not translate confusion into hidden commitment. If she says, I miss you, but I am still confused, hear the entire sentence. Not only the part that comforts you, you can say, I understand, but I cannot return to an unclear situation. Take the time you need. Then continue moving forward. Do not become her waiting room. Confusion may deserve compassion. It does not deserve unlimited access to your emotional life. Now, suppose she says she wants another chance. This is the moment you imagine during every silent night. Your heart may move faster than your judgment. The rejection seems reversed. The pain suddenly has meaning. You feel as if the entire separation was only a path leading back to this moment. Slow down. Her return is not proof that the relationship is ready. Contact is an opening. Repair is a process. Ask what changed. What has she understood? Why does she believe things could be different? What responsibility does she take? What does she expect from you? What will both of you do when the old problems return? Do not interrogate her. Have an honest conversation. And do not accept all the blame because you fear losing the opportunity. You may have made mistakes. Own them. Perhaps you became insecure. Perhaps you overreacted. Perhaps you stopped listening. Perhaps you neglected the relationship. Perhaps you became controlling. Say what is true. But rebuilding cannot require one person to become the villain while the other avoids all accountability. Both people must understand their part. Then watch behavior. Words spoken during fear can sound powerful. Consistency after fear disappears tells the truth. Does she continue initiating? Does she follow through? Does she respect your time? Does she communicate when something feels wrong? Does she remain engaged after she knows you still care? Trust should grow at the speed of evidence, not at the speed of your relief. This is the mistake most men make. They spend weeks rebuilding themselves. They train, they work, they stop checking, they recover emotional control. Then she contacts them. Within 24 hours, every new habit disappears. They become fully available. They cancel plans. They answer instantly. They start reassuring her constantly. They return to carrying the entire connection because they are terrified of losing her twice. The relationship receives the exact same man she was willing to leave. Do not abandon the version of you that the separation forced you to build. If the relationship returns, it must fit inside your life. It cannot become your whole life again. Your training continues, your work continues, your standards remain, your friendships remain, your sleep remains protected. Your direction does not disappear because she has returned. A healthy relationship should join two lives. It should not consume one person's identity. Now, what if she never contacts you? What if she expected you to return, notice that you did not, and still chose silence? Then her behavior is information. She may think about you. She may miss you. She may feel regret privately. But hidden feelings do not create a relationship. A relationship requires communication, availability, consistency, mutual effort. Do not fall in love with what you believe she secretly feels while ignoring what she openly chooses. That is how a man loses years. Tells himself she's afraid, she is proud, she is waiting, she is watching, she is secretly comparing everyone to him, maybe. But what is she doing? If the answer is nothing, your life cannot remain paused around imagined emotions. She may care and still not choose you. Those two realities can exist together. You can accept both. The relationship may have been meaningful and it may still be over. You may have been important to her and she may still decide not to return. A relationship does not become fake simply because it ends, but a meaningful past does not guarantee a shared future. Honor what was real, accepted what is real now. Then continue. Here is your 7 day reset for 7 days. Do not contact her from panic. Do not check her stories. Do not ask mutual friends whether she mentioned you. Do not post anything designed to make her jealous or curious. Do not reread old messages after midnight. Do not search for signs that she regrets letting you go. Do not make emotional decisions when you are tired, lonely, or angry. For 7 days, redirect that energy toward your body, work, money, sleep, discipline, faith, emotional control, and identity. Train consistently, but do not punish yourself. Eat properly. Clean your environment. Complete one responsibility you have delayed. Set one financial goal. Reduce the time you spend holding your phone. Plan your next day before you sleep. On the first day, remove easy access to triggers. Mute her profile if necessary. You do not need to block her dramatically or announce what you are doing. Quickly protect your attention. On the second day, write down the full reality of the relationship. Not only the beautiful beginning, not only the painful ending. Where was the relationship healthy? Where did it become one sided? What did she do that hurt the connection? What did you do? What would have to change before another chance became reasonable? On the third day, return to physical discipline. Walk, train, sleep properly. The goal is not to build a body she regrets losing. The goal is to rebuild trust in your own ability to act when you feel emotionally weak. On the fourth day, complete difficult work. Every hour spent wondering whether she misses you is an hour removed from the future you still have to build. Take one of those hours back. On the fifth day, define your standards, clear communication, mutual effort, respect, emotional availability, no triangles, no repeated threats of leaving, no chasing permanent uncertainty. Then define what you will do when those standards are not met. A boundary describes your action, not the behavior you will force from another person. On the sixth day, reconnect with a person or purpose that existed before the relationship. Your identity must become larger than romantic attention. On the seventh day, make one promise to yourself for the next 30 days: a work schedule, a training routine, a social media boundary, a sleep rule, a financial target, then keep it. Confidence is built when your behavior teaches you that your own word can be trusted. The reset is not designed to make her wonder why you never came back. It is designed to make you strong enough that her wondering is no longer the center of your life. That is the deeper change. You may stop chasing through messages while continuing to chase mentally. You imagine her reaction. You rehearse the conversation. You picture her seeing your progress. You wonder when the regret will begin. You count the days. That is not freedom. Your body has left the door, but your mind is still standing beside it. Real disappearance is not deleting yourself to make her panic. It is returning to your own life so completely that you no longer require her response to justify your decision. Build your body because your health matters. Build your money because your future needs stability. Build your work because purpose gives pain somewhere useful to go. Strengthen your faith or principles because attention is too unstable to become your foundation. Rebuild friendships and family connections. God creates several pillars beneath your life. Then one relationship can end without making your entire identity collapse. Now ask yourself the question that exposes your motive. Do you want her back because the relationship was healthy, peaceful, and mutual? Or because her return would reverse the humiliation of being left? Do you miss her character or do you miss the feeling of being wanted by her? Would you accept her back if she returned with the exact same behavior? Or are you imagining a changed version of her who has not yet appeared? Sometimes you are not waiting for love. You are waiting for victory. You want her to say, I thought you would come back, and losing you made me realize everything. You believe those words will heal your confidence, but confidence received from another person can be taken away by another person. Even if she returns, insecurity will return the next time her energy changes unless you build stability inside yourself. You need confidence she cannot provide and cannot remove. Confidence built through discipline, boundaries, accountability, purpose, the ability to face painful reality without begging it to become different. That is the man you must become. Do not become bitter. Do not decide every woman takes good men for granted. Do not punish the next person for this relationship. Do not become emotionally unavailable and call it masculine strength. That is not healing. That is pain wearing armor. A mature man learns while remaining capable of love. He becomes more observant. He addresses problems sooner. He stops overgiving to compensate for another person's uncertainty. He communicates clearly. He requires reciprocity. He can be loyal without becoming easy to use. He can be patient without waiting forever. He can love without begging. And he can walk away without revenge. That is strength. So she thought you would always come back. She expected the message. She expected the apology. She expected you to break before the silence became permanent. Then you disappeared. Not to punish her, not to create anxiety, not to prove that you were more powerful. You disappeared from a dynamic where your effort had become guaranteed and your dignity had become negotiable. Maybe she now remembers you more clearly. Maybe your absence has revealed what your presence provided. Maybe she wonders whether she pushed you too far. Maybe she compares the silence now with the security she once received from you. Maybe she wants to contact you but fears what you will say, or maybe she has accepted the ending. You do not need to guess. Let her behavior speak. If she contacts you clearly, listen. If she takes responsibility, observe consistency. If she only wants reassurance, protect your access. If she brings confusion, refuse to become her waiting room. If she is with someone else, refuse the triangle. If she never contacts you, continue building. Because the deepest truth is this: she may have expected you to come back, but your life cannot remain a performance designed to prove that you never will. The real victory is not that she notices your absence. It is that you finally notice how much of yourself you abandoned while trying to remain present in her life. You never came back because the version of you who kept chasing could not take you where you needed to go. And in the next video, you will learn what happens when she finally sends the message she resisted for weeks, and the one response that reveals whether she wants you back or only wants to know that you are still waiting.